shaitan. Oh, you who believe, please give thanks to Allah.
Do you know what Islam is? It's a way of life for all. It is taught in the Quran for big and small. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. Do you know what Islam says? It says that life's the greatest test. It says that life's a borrowed space, returned upon rest. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. Islam solves all of our problems. Allah leaves no stone unturned. Perfect. Do you know what Islam is? It's a way of life for all. It is taught in the Quran for big and small. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. Do you know what Islam says? It says that life's the greatest test. It says that life's a borrowed space, returned upon rest. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. Islam solves all of our problems. Allah leaves no stone unturned. Perfect with no flaws at all are the laws of Allah. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way. It's a complete way. It's a complete way.
Give thanks to Allah.
يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن بالفضل والتيجان. يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن بالفضل والتيجان. يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is usually back again for Just Ask Islam, the show here on Guidance TV. As you can see, we are bringing you guys a show today, Insha Allah ta'ala, and we hope to be connecting with you guys a little bit later on in the show. Really quick, how you can connect with us. You can look on the screen here, Insha Allah ta'ala. You can follow us online at our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/justaskislam.shareislam. You can also go to our website, www.justaskislam.com. That's where you can log on, go online, and you'll be able to see previous episodes as well as answers to questions that you might already have. Here today with me we have my Sheikh, inshallah, your Sheikh, Sheikh Jamal bin Amr. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, Sheikhna, we just had a very big event that just passed. I think it was yesterday actually. And there, I found actually there was a lot of confusion that people had about the eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping today, inshallah ta'ala, since this is like a trending topic, did you see any of the pictures from the NASA or any of the pictures that the people had posted online?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Well, one of the amazing ones that I saw actually was from NASA, and they took one from space, and it showed, just this big black dot with the, just the orange right around it. And one of the things that came to mind basically was we had a lot of people, even Muslims today, who the eclipse happened, and then there's confusion about it. There was some people saying that, oh, this is like a sign of something bad. There were people that were saying that this was something, this is something that's, not good, and this or that, and there's like conspiracy theories, and it's a new age, and all of this. As Muslims, what is our take on the solar eclipse?
The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the hadith said, قال الشمس والقمر آيتان من آيات الرحمن. The sun and the moon are signs from the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala signs, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them, and He made them to subservient to function, subhanallah, in the way of the to providing for the life and for the objective, if you can say, of our life. But they don't have anything to do or interact or interfere with our life. As in the hadith, also in the same hadith, when Ibrahim, the son of the Prophet ﷺ, passed away, people, they said, actually the eclipse happened because of the death of Ibrahim, the son of the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ, that when he said this hadith, قال الشمس والقمر آيتان من آيات الرحمن. Those are signs of Allah. Those are being subjected by Allah, or being subservient by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to, as we said, around us. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالَّذِي جَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ. The other ayah قال وَالَّذِي خَلَقَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ كُلٌّ فِي فَلَكٍ يَسْبَحُونَ. And the other ayah قال وهو الذي سخر لكم الليل والنهار. He's the one who makes subservient to you the night and the day. And the other ayah said the sun and the moon. So those are, signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore they do not act, or they do not eclipse in any way for any person or anything that happened in our world. So they are under Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, how they function. However, the eclipse of the moon or the eclipse of the sun, they are in the Arabic khusufun wa kusufun, are almost, according to the scholar, are the same. Here, it is a sign for us that it might be the end of the world, because everything happened by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no one knows when things are happening. So if we get used to something, what is functioning around us is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That thing can end at any time. Like someone's life can end at any time. Someone walking and he gets stroke, he fell unconscious, he's dead. The same thing for everything. People are kind of secure and safe, and kind of they controlling everything around them. And that feeling of controlling for the Muslim, it doesn't fit with his spirituality, with his spirit and purpose of life. When we say someone is controlling on everything, that leads to arrogance, leads like you control your destiny, you control, it's like you putting the creator, the divine out of the picture. The Prophet ﷺ taught us in such a thing, when you see the eclipse, قال فإذا رأيتموه فادعوا وصلوا. When you see it, ask Allah, invoke Allah, supplicate Allah, show humility, show your dependence to Allah. We are fuqara to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and make a lot of salat, and make salat. So the salat comes from this command of the Prophet ﷺ. When you see such a sign, someone to busy himself with the worship, to busy himself with the servitude of Allah, it might be the end of everything. I mean, people now, scientists, they say it happened like some has been said every 2 years. It depends on the part of the world. But it is a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remind us how dependent we are, to remind us how poor we are, to remind us how much we need to be show humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is a way for the worshipper maybe to recheck his servitude to Allah, to be more humble, to be mindful, is like an awareness of the gift around you, of the signs around you, of the miracle around you that happen at every second and every moment. And that's one of the great purpose and the wisdom in the prayer, and how to look at the eclipse.
SubhanAllah. So also is that the eclipse, the salah of the eclipse, the Prophet ﷺ, when I was reading that hadith yesterday, there was the eclipse salah. The Prophet ﷺ, he rushed out of his house when the eclipse happened, and that he also, the women of the household, they also went to the masjid and they did the salah together.
Yeah.
So the question of it is this an obligatory action upon
No,
the
it's
entire
not
community?
obligatory action. According to the majority of the scholar, it's a sunnah. It's a sunnah to be observed. And the way to be prayed is have a specific way, and the specific way of the Prophet ﷺ prayed it is based on the eclipse, as we said, at that moment. So the time of the prayer is when to see it. Because the question mark is like, if you don't see it but you're being told about it, are you going to pray or not? So according to the scholar, you have to witness it and observe it, because the Prophet ﷺ, the way he prayed, he make a long recitation, he went to ruku', and then when he went back from the ruku', the eclipse is still on. I mean, they didn't finish, so he continued another recitation. That's why in Salatul Kusuf you have in every rak'ah 2 qiyam, 2 recitation, 2 ruku' and 2 sujood. So this is in a way to extend the prayer. That's what the Prophet ﷺ teaching us, to extend the prayer till the injila, the ending of the eclipse. Okay, so many of the scholars, they're saying is the congregation is required. Actually, according to many of the scholars, is not required. And then, for example, the case of yesterday, if it had to happen in a congregation, if people, they did it in congregation, they have first to witness it, and by witnessing, they will pray till the end of the eclipse. But our scholar, they're saying, anyone who will pray 2 rak'ah, simple rak'ah, like he does any rak'ah, and he nafila, and with the intention, so becomes like back to the illah, to the spirit, to the reason of the prayer, is to remind ourselves that you're going to end, one day. It might be the end. Show humility to Allah, do a lot of vocation, and 2 rak'ah will be enough. 2 rak'ah will be enough. Simple nafila rak'ah. Yep.
SubhanAllah. Is it we had, whenever the eclipse happened, I remember yesterday, I was at my house, I'm working on the computer like usual, and the next thing I noticed, I'm like, oh man, I forgot there's an eclipse today. So it was, I think it was about 12 something around in there, and I'm leaving the house, and we got a question, about it being something bad or evil, or
No,
we
nothing
heard
good.
that maybe
آية
this is
ثانية من
something
آيات
that's wrong.
الرحمن.
And whenever I saw it, it was like,
But did you witness it? Did you see it?
I did see it while I was driving to go to the
Yeah,
masjid.
okay.
So while I got to the masjid though, but what I realized, and I got to the masjid and I walked in, so I'm like rushing into the masjid thinking, okay, the salah has already been established. And when I got inside, everybody's just hanging out, a couple guys sitting in the masjid, and I was like, okay. And I asked the brother, I figured, okay, maybe this is the imam. So I asked him, I said, Akhi, salamu alaikum, did you guys already do the salah for the eclipse? He was like, huh?
I mean, it's not an obligation. It is sunnah. Whoever who didn't do it, there is no blame and objection on him. And whoever who did it, he need, I mean, to review the ruling concerning the salat of the eclipse need to be done while someone witnessing and observing it. For example, if he came or he realized that it passed, so there is no salah. The time of the prayer is in the time when the eclipse on, and that's what the sign. So at the manifestation of the sign is when the prayer need to be done. And if someone doesn't know all the ruling, two simple nafila, as the scholar they said, and as I said back, is the reason or the illah or the wisdom is to show that great humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that the believer is ready to go at any time. So it might be an eclipse, it might be a storm, it might be a tornado, it may be earthquake, and that's why many of the scholars, they've been questioning if this prayer is only for the eclipse, as the reason of it is a sign that it might be the end of time or the end of that town or the end of that person himself. It might be something, cause, for example, a storm or earthquake. So many of the scholars
before, they said that these clouds will bring us rain.
Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it was a wind that subhanallah enrolled the whole thing and destroyed everything. That's why the question is, should someone pray a prayer like the kusuf at any things like a calamity happening, difficulties befalling? Some of the scholars, they say they should. But the conclusion is, when we just, refer to the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one that is clear at the time of the eclipse, and some scholars they add at the time if there is an earthquake, they do pray too. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.
And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. With that, guys, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. I'm pulling up the stuff from our Facebook right now, inshallah ta'ala. We're going to be taking your questions. So get them ready. Write them down. Do whatever it is that you got to do, inshallah ta'ala. The phone number will be on the screen. We will be waiting to hear from you guys. Make sure that you give us a call. We're waiting to get that. Stay right there. Stay tuned. And of course, as always, get guided with Guide Us TV.
We need Guide Us TV.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace and blessings be upon all of you. One of the aims of Islam is to create a society that peacefully coexists with one another. It is my firm belief that ignorance breeds fear. And if we want to get rid of ignorance, we have to educate. I appreciate what Guide Us TV is doing, educating our public in order to be better informed so that we're not afraid of one another, so that we can all peacefully coexist. Get guided with Guide Us TV.
Guided with Guide Us TV.
Get connected with Guide Us TV. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/guideustv1. Join us on Google+, plus.google.com/+guideustv. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/guideustv1. Find us on Flickr, flickr.com/photos/guideustv. And add us on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/guideustv. Get guided with Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV.
Many of us are concerned today about the challenges facing Muslims all around the world. And there's a way that we can help and work together. Support Guidance TV right now. With your help, your support, and your prayers, we can make a difference. Accept that challenge. Send the word Islam to phone number 41444. That's a special phone number. Just those numbers. 41444. Send the word Islam right now. It will send you a link to let you help be a part of this challenge. Help me help others to see the truth about real Islam. We want to expose Islam, the real Islam, and we can do that together, can't we? Let's do it. Send the word Islam to 41444. Allah bless you and guide you with Guidance TV.
يا حامل القرآن قد خصك الرحمن بالفضل والتيجان.
This is usually back again for Just Ask Islam right here on Guidance TV. Here again, back again, and guys, make sure with the phone number, we'll get it up on the screen right now, inshallah ta'ala. You can give us a phone call at 1-800-971-4383. The guys in the back are ready to take your phone calls and switch them on over to us, inshallah ta'ala. Once you guys call in, inshallah, you can you just submit your question with the people in the back, screen your call just slightly, and then they can switch you over to us. You can also send us your questions online, either through www.justaskislam.com, or you can message us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/justaskislam.shareislam. There you can submit your questions in our inbox. We do have one of the questions in our inbox right now, and if you guys are watching us on the Facebook page, you can also comment below, inshallah, and we will take those questions, inshallah. Also, what you guys can do is to, like I said, you can also email us. You can also email us at contact@guideus.tv. Here again, back again with Sheikh Jamal bin Amr, who is our Sheikh here in Alaman Center, as well as for the show of Just Ask Islam. You're going to be making hajj here in just a couple of days, huh?
Inshallah, traveling.
Inshallah.
Yeah, traveling.
So the you will be off for you'll go for the hajj, and then you'll do some visiting back home, I think, and then inshallah you'll be back with us for Just Ask Islam about next month.
Yes.
So guys, you guys sitting out there, if you're watching us right now, we will be not discontinuing Just Ask Islam, but there will be a break just for the season of the hajj and for the Sheikh's travels, inshallah. And then afterwards, we will be back, inshallah, to bring you guys for Just Ask Islam. Sheikh Jamal, we have a question here in our inbox. I just want to pull it up here. And the person they asked about is the Qurbani Faraj. I'm guessing, are they asking if it is wajib or sunnah? Is it obligatory or sunnah? Nowadays, in some parts of the world, Qurbani has become showing off people's wealth or social standard, and I'm guessing they are trying to getting out of that tradition. What is the right way?
The Idha, it's one of the greatest or confirmed and recommended sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So according to the majority of the scholars, Sunnah Mu'akkada. Sunnah Mu'akkada is not an obligation, which is mean the one who will not be offering the sacrifice, he will not be blamed or punished, because when it's wajib, that's the meaning of it. Highly recommended. Anyone who can afford it, he is really highly recommended to do the sacrifice, because it's from Sha'irullah and Sunnat al-Islam, and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah. Now, for the people, the showing off and everything, that's of course, the sacrifice and what's being done as in this beautiful and blessed days of the Hajj, which will be starting, by the way, the first day of the Hajj will be starting tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, and then the Eid will be on Friday. Yeah, and the Arafah will be Thursday. So talking about the Friday, I think 1st of September or 31st, I'm not sure, but it's going to be the Eid on Friday. On these blessed days, it is the way to multiply the worship, because these days that coming up are, as the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the best day of the whole world, or the whole life, or the whole entire life. Showing the multiplication of the worship is to come closer to Allah. Come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we mentioned earlier, is to show that humility, to be humble with the people, to love Allah, to trust in Allah, to rely on Allah, to raise for the good, to try to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this, the spirit and the way how the believer need to be and what he has to focus on. How come, or how can the showing off comes to play in this spirituality or in this path? Therefore, those who show off when they do they have a bigger goat or a bigger lamb or things, there's nothing have to do with the deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them and guide their heart to do such an action for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال ولكل جعلنا ولكل أمة جعلنا منسكا ليذكروا اسم الله على ما رزقهم من بهيمة الأنعام. For every nation we have made rites or ritual for them to be grateful to Allah on what He had blessed them and bestow on them from the cattle, for them to eat and to use. Some of them they ride, some of them they eat, some of them they drink from. قال وإلهكم إله واحد فله أسلموا. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is associating and remind us that this Adha, this Qurbani, this is all blessed days, is to be grateful to Allah. And gratefulness to Allah, it means like to surrender, to submit to Allah. And then he said, قال وبشر المخبتين, and we give glad tidings to those who are mukhbitin, those who people are the devotee one. So when we say the devotee one, here comes the fact that someone need to be humble. And the devotee one, as he mentioned Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ayah after it, he said those who are patient when they face calamities, when they face trials, and those who establish the prayer, and those who provide from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them, and those when Allah's name is mentioned, their heart is filled with fear. So these are mukhbitin. So this characteristic that the believer need to focus on, need to develop in him own self, so the sacrifice will be beneficial for him, inshallah will be blessed, and will be a way to increase his taqwa. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال لا ينال الله لحومها ولا دماؤها ولكن يناله التقوى منكم. Allah does not get from your sacrifice the flesh and the blood. What reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the piety, is that expression of the sincerity. Therefore, anyone who do showing off, anyone who's doing such a thing, he's off of the real reason and real objective of the sacrifice.
SubhanAllah. So, I think, if I'm not mistaken, does it equate to show off in this action, which this is the Qurbani, is a sacrifice to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does it equate to shirk?
We don't want to get there, because the sacrifice itself, if it's done to other than Allah, that's one of the biggest action of shirk. But someone is doing it for Allah, but an action on the side, what he has is to want to show off on the neighbor. He has a better lamb, and I know maybe what the brother he's asking his question, which is becomes that common in certain Muslim society or part of this society, that it might be what he implied.
SubhanAllah. We have a question here from Abshir Muhammad. He's asking about the Salamu Alaikum Shaykh. What is the reward for fasting all 10 days of the Dhul Hijjah?
The reward is a great reward. Actually, the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, when the scholar they examining and trying to find out about the wisdom, how these days are the best of the days, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala, one of the aspects that he mentioned, he said, subhanallah, these days are not days only for fasting like in Ramadan. These days everything is open, so it's not only the fasting, all the action of good, they're going to be multiplied, because it's a forbidden month and these days are very blessed days. Therefore the reward is going to be great by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but actually every action will be greater than any other days. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that about the only fasting of the day of Arafah is like, Insha Allah, I said, the expiation of 2 years. A year passed, and qala wa ahsab, and he's counting and relying, and this is when he relying, this is the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, that also is going to be for the next year. Yeah.
So, and there's also another question about fasting on the day of Arafah.
Yes.
Is it
That's
obligatory?
No, it's a sunnah. It's a sunnah. The only obligatory is Ramadan.
Oh,
Yeah, the obligatory.
so if the
And whatever makes someone nether an oath, he took an oath or covenant to fast, that it becomes an obligatory. But the Arafah is not obligatory. It's highly recommended because of the great reward that I just mentioned. But everyone is recommended to fast it except the people in Hajj. Except the people in Hajj. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he didn't fast in Arafah, and the wisdom that the people at Arafah, those who have been honored to be in Arafah, they need to have the strength for the dua, because the best part of Arafah is between Asr and Maghrib and dua, invocation and supplication. And when someone is fasting, he's going to be weak. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he showed to the whole ummah when he was on his camel, he brought a bowl of milk or of lebanon, and he drank it in front of everyone, which is mean the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, everyone in Hajj, he should not at all fast except with certain condition, but the rest of the ummah is highly recommended to them to fast on Arafah. Therefore the one who fasts all the 10 days, that will be really great deed. But at least we say that the day of Arafah, that's a great day to fast. That's a great day to fast.
SubhanAllah. Guys, if you're watching right now, you can give us a phone call. The phone number is on the screen, 1-800-971-4383. You can go ahead and give us a phone call. If you're watching us online, you can also comment on the stream, Insha Allah ta'ala, and we will take your questions as they come in. I am monitoring it, so I'm looking for your questions right now, as well as you can you can send us a message through our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/justaskislam.shareislam. Got about 10 minutes left in this segment right here, so we are waiting for your guys' phone call. Pick up the phone, inshallah ta'ala, give us a phone call. Even if you just want to call in and say Assalamu alaikum, we'll be here just to say wa alaikum salam. So as always, like I said, phone number is on the screen, 1-800-971-4383. We're waiting for your phone calls. You can also give us a message online, facebook.com/justaskislam.shareislam. You can also send us the comment on the stream if you're watching us there right now. And above all, make sure that you tune in and watch for Guidance TV. You can go to our website, www.guideus.tv/live, where you can learn more of how you can get Guidance TV in your home and watch us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. and sometimes 366 every 4 years for the leap year. So, Sheikhna, we are pulling up some questions here and trying to get some questions here in the on the Facebook page. We talked recently. We just covered about the salah of the kusuf. We covered about the prayer of the eclipse, and I wanted to ask though is that we have for that natural phenomena of the eclipse. Is there anything else from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that happened during his time to where that they did a nafila in regards to a natural phenomena that happened?
That's what I said. I mean, the scholars, they were analyzing the fact, is it also recommended to do prayer for
like
any other calamities?
But was there anything from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam?
No, but there's a hadith, and the hadith, wallahu alam, about its authenticity. But some of the scholars, they mention of the hadith to say that it's also for the earthquake. That's why some of the other scholars who extending the nafila for any natural phenomenon or any natural disaster.
MashaAllah.
But the hadith sahih is the authentic is to do it at the khusuf, which is mean it will not hold anyone else to do any prayer, because the prayer is a dua, and the prayer is like to flee to Allah in time of difficulties and fear. Therefore, when someone, for example, he's scared, or someone he's like anything that he's facing, is either from a natural phenomena or from anything else, is to yafza'u ila Allah, is to run to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's exactly the reason and let's say the wisdom in the Salatul Khusuf.
So that's the whole idea behind it, though.
Yeah.
Is that when something happens,
yeah,
you run to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Oh yeah. I mean, people
if only
watching,
the Muslims today were to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, people taking picture and watching, and the Muslims should be in sujood to Allah.
Is that there was a lot of Muslims obviously that went out, bought the sunglasses and looked at it.
Yeah, if it's for protection necessarily, so it's okay.
But what would have been better necessarily to say is that what would have been better was for them to go and do the salah rather than...
It is sunnah. So
they don't have to, but...
It is sunnah. Yeah.
But it is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yes.
I think though is that one of the things that happened after, yesterday, there was a lot of people that they looked at it because there was, especially there was a lot of places that, of even masajid, that they didn't prepare for it at all. They didn't, have the salah. There was a lot of masjids in our area here in Minneapolis that didn't do the salah for the eclipse, and a lot of people had said, it was worrisome because of, this is a sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is a masjid. Why didn't we have the salah here in?
Because it's a sunnah.
Yeah.
Because it's a sunnah, therefore we cannot blame people if they didn't do it. But those who have done it is good. And then the other, in the other hand, it depends on the society you live in. For example, if this whole community are Muslim, therefore it will be very, befitting the society to have to do it. But when you have people at work and you have people, everywhere, so you try to give them a solution which will help everyone. So the Salat al-Nafilah, whatever someone will be, just make your 2 rak'ah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be, also partial solution. The other thing is, as we said, if you're going to do the prayer, it need to be according to the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if people, they announce it before a few days, they telling you the salat is going to be at 1. I say, how did you know that it's going to be at 1? Okay, you following, what is being announced, but the sunnah is to see it. and it might be delayed or things. And then the salat is to be initiated at the time of the eclipse when it starts. You know, so it's really not I would say very convenient in a way how to call for it, because as you said already, the Prophet ﷺ, when he saw it, he rushed. You see, so you have to have the congregation waiting when it is the time to pray. So we cannot say 1 o'clock we're gonna pray the khusuf. No, it's gonna be the time of the khusuf. You have to witness on your state where you are, maybe in your particular neighborhood, and then it will be like if you're gonna call people first for a specific time, it will not be befitting and going with the way of the Sunnah. And then if you're gonna call people and people they're gonna come, what if you don't say it is cloudy and stormy, like it happened yesterday here? Yeah.
What if it's a there was a question that was online. Someone, they asked if they were in the southern part of the United States, and they said that they didn't know if they were if they would see it or not. So if take for instance, like here in where we're at in America, there were parts of America that didn't see the eclipse, right? Would the person still, you know, even though
no?
So it's only
the
in those
eclipse
areas
only,
if they see it.
not if only they witness it. If yourself you witness, you see it, you pray. Someone, for example, he didn't know about it, and he's at home, for example, he didn't know about it, like yourself you said yesterday. So the prayer, it is like, you know, we said subhanallah, the wisdom is like you see a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is to remind you the power of Allah, to remind you the will of Allah, to remind you, you know, the purpose of your life, why you are here, things like that. So that prayer is like a refreshing awareness, you know, for someone's life, for someone, you know, purpose of existence, you know, because the Prophet ﷺ teaching us, you cannot, like, you know, rely on what, you know, the habit or the what you believe that is securing and everything is fine, because it might collapse at any time. Subhanallah, it might collapse. I mean, I remember a while ago, years ago, when there's a meteor, they found out that it's going to pass by the Earth, and if it hit Earth, it will have been like the whole disaster, and they think they made a movie out of it.
Yeah,
so one scientist who doesn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah guide him, he said, now we know how the world is going to end. This is an idea because it comes from outer space, something that hit the Earth is the end. Actually, there's kind of a burst from you know, from outer space, from certain, you know, stars, it can hit the Earth. So we don't know. That's what I say. When you see the eclipse, it might be the end of the world, and that is the spirit of begging and humility to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
SubhanAllah. We actually have a question that's coming in here. The technicians in the back have said that we've got a question on the line here. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Hello, caller. I'm not sure exactly what happened here. Moving right along. I think the technician, somebody fell asleep on the switchboard back there. But either way, Sheikh, now, oh, it sounds like, okay, we've got somebody on the line here. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Looks like we lost the call. Guys, if you're watching us, make sure the phone number is right here on the screen, inshallah ta'ala. You can give us a phone call. Sorry that they told me that we have the phone call on the line. It looks like we lost the call though. Call us back. We're waiting for you guys, inshallah. We do have a question that is on the Facebook Live here. And the person they are asking, Candace in Texas. Assalamu alaikum, Mariam, Candace. It's down there in Texas. She has a question about hadith, that as the hadith came 200 years later, or when were they collected, question mark, how can we trust them when some are weak?
The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam are revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we say revelation because when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, said, O Messenger of Allah, I mean, you see you talking to us serious, sometimes, smiling, sometimes, talking like in a casual way, let's say in our word. He said, which part of the speech that we should take in consideration as teaching, as learning, as conveying of the message? So the Prophet ﷺ pointed to his mouth. He said, Qala, only comes out of this mouth the truth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Najm, Qala in huwa illa wahyun yuha. It is all revelation. That what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. And the companion of Allah ta'ala alayhim, they learned the Quran from the Prophet. So he told them the Quran, and the same the hadith. So it's like a question mark. Why we take the Quran and then we put a question mark on the hadith? Well, they came from the same messenger. He's the one who spoke out the Quran. This is said, when we say hadith da'if, it doesn't mean we'll say, if hadith da'if, how can we trust the hadith? We say what the meaning of hadith da'if first. What the meaning of hadith da'if. So hadith da'if, just to understand, the hadith da'if are the scholars, our scholar rahimahullah ta'ala, they put a whole terminology, they put a whole technique, they put a whole procedure, they call it science of hadith, how to find out the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that the authentic one. And we say authentic, note it doesn't mean like, there's question mark on the whole origin of the hadith. But the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, they are, after, in the generation after the Prophet ﷺ, which is the generation of the companion after the death of the Prophet ﷺ, everyone was, conveying and talking about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and his teaching is like they were like conveying, they were like acting upon the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ. Now, when problem happen and trial and fitan, people when they start to say the Prophet said, they start to tell them who told you that. So who told you that brought this whole science of hadith to detect the chain of narration. We have one sayer, and then we have the companion, and we have the Prophet. And then in the generation after it is like one sayer, narrator, then reported from another narrator, from the companion, and from the Prophet ﷺ. Now, if we say who the first narrator, that's the science of hadith, is to study their integrity, their trustworthy, their level in the knowledge of the Sharia, and all of that, the same after that. So when we have a chain of narration, secured, safe, known, who are these people, that's what we call hadith sahih. But when we have a chain of narration that we don't know the person, he might be a good person, but we don't have the information about that person. So we say mubham, so it's hadith da'if. So we say the collection of the hadith, it happened in time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, not that collected because it didn't exist. The Prophet ﷺ, he said in the beginning, do not write the hadith. Why? Till the whole Quran will be well established and well, soaked in the heart and the spirit and the soul of the believers.
To preserve.
So the Prophet ﷺ didn't want them to mix. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he doesn't want them also to write things that people, they might think they are laws later on, because he was addressing to someone in a particular, incident that is only specific for him. So when Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiallahu ta'ala anhu wa rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, let's collect the sunnah of the Prophet. So there's companion around them. Collecting the sunnah is to write everything that is around the companion that they know from the Prophet ﷺ. And then with its chain and everything. So compile all this, which will be like another, to secure the source, the second source of our Islamic jurisprudence, which is after the Quran, it is the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So yes, we do trust them because it's a wahy, it's a revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Imam al-Bukhari, he traveled, he's in the third generation, 16 years to compile a book. It has 5,000 hadith that are the most authentic hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, because in the chain of narration he studied it one by one, and he had the proof that every reporter he took from his narrator, the one who report from, that they met, and they know their level of integrity, trustworthiness, their precision and accuracy in memorization, in preserving their books, their hadith, and it goes back to the Prophet ﷺ. That's what we call hadith sahih.
Well, guys, we're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back right after this. If you guys are sitting out there, you're watching this, get your phones ready, get your questions ready, submit them in. We've only got 10 minutes left in the program. We'll be right back with a whole lot more right here. Make sure that you get guided. Guidance TV.
Get guided. Oh, Guidance TV.
Many of us are concerned today about the challenges facing Muslims all around the world. And there's a way that we can help and work together. Support Guidance TV right now. With your help, your support, and your prayers, we can make a difference. Accept that challenge. Send the word Islam to phone number 41444. That's a special phone number. Just those numbers. 41444. Send the word Islam right now. It will send you a link to let you help be a part of this challenge. Help me help others to see the truth about real Islam. We want to expose Islam, the real Islam, and we can do that together, can't we? Let's do it. Send the word Islam to 41444. Allah bless you and guide you with Guidance TV.
Do we need Guidance TV?
Obviously, we do need Guidance TV in order to clarify the misconceptions created by others and in order to present the correct image of Islam. So get guided by Guidance TV.
Get guided with Guidance TV. Do we need Guidance TV?
Obviously, we do need Guidance TV in order to clarify the misconceptions created by others and in order to present the correct image of Islam. So get guided by Guidance TV.
Get guided with Guidance TV. Do we need Guidance TV?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is usually for Guidance TV's special program, Just Ask Islam. We're back again with my Sheikh, Insha Allah, your Sheikh, Sheikh Jamal bin Amr, here at Alaman Center. Jazakumullah khair.
Wa jazakumullah khair.
And the guys in the back right now are taking our caller right now, Insha Allah Ta'ala, and trying to get the call switched over to us. And we were just talking about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and the compilation of it. And one of the questions that they had asked in there was about if the hadith that they came 200 years later, can it be trusted or anything like that. And one of the almost movements that we see today, right, is people that are saying that they should just throw out the hadith and none of the hadith can be accepted, that none of them can be accepted. And while we were on the break right now, we were just talking about the issue that comes in with that is that when people, they throw out the hadith, they say, oh, throw out the hadith because it can't be trusted. But in fact, the same people who brought us the hadith are the same people that brought the Quran. Is that true, Sheikh?
Yeah, they are the companions of Allah Ta'ala alayhim. Now the other thing is very important to mention here. When there's a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "It's going to come a time when someone will be laying down ala arikati." Arikati is like on his couch or like chaise. And they being talk to him about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he'll say, no, whatever I find in the book of Allah, I take it, and whatever I don't find it, I will not take it. And the Prophet ﷺ talked about these people who are going to come, seeking the distortion of the deen, really, seeking the distortion of the deen, because they want to ignore a big part of the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam are the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as being described, he's a Quran walking, right? طيب. If you take the Quran and you don't find, you don't see how the Quran was implemented, so it's like you're taking away the whole revelation. And then people with their own whims, they want to give interpretation of the ayat of the Quran. Say, no, the interpretation of the ayat of the Quran is in the behavior, is in the conduct, in the way of the Prophet ﷺ. So you take away the hadith, you're taking away our Islam.
We have a caller on the line here, inshallah ta'ala, if we can get them switched over to us. Assalamu alaikum, caller. Hello, caller. Assalamu alaikum. Still don't have anything coming through here. We get the caller on the line. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, caller. Assalamu alaikum. Not getting anything. I can hear something on the other side over there.
Yes.
There we are.
I can hardly hear them. So.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear us now?
Okay.
We've only got 3 minutes left in the program here, guys. So figure out the phones here, inshallah. But we have another question actually that just came in on our Facebook account on the Facebook here. If you bought a house from a bank and you're trying to get out of riba, and there is a profit in the house, is the profit haram? If they bought the house from a bank, but they're trying to get out of the riba, and they sell the house, and there's a profit that of a margin of profit. Is that profit haram?
This is two different transactions. The house, they sell in it, so that's a sale contract. The contract of sale. So a transaction of selling, and the selling is halal. Whatever they, someone buys something with, crooked or non-halal meaning, and then he going to sell it. That contract is halal because the action of the halal. But the origin of the thing, so someone will have the sin of how he get it, but not how he sold it. So totally different. So the profit that he gonna get from the house, it's inshallah it is correct according to the principle of the contract.
SubhanAllah. So to sell it would be okay, and he could keep the margin of the profit, but that the sin was in the beginning of it.
Well, he gonna pay off everything. He gonna pay off everything so he get out, and then whatever he has left from the part that he invests and truly pay, he gonna invest it in another house if he gonna buy another house.
If that's okay, mashallah. But for the serious part in this though is the beginning of the action of taking the house on riba, when we know for a fact that we shouldn't do it.
I mean, there's a lot of saying of the scholar, but it's really forbidden as is known. This is usually, but then those who get some fatwa or some exception because of their condition, because of their things, that's exception that being given to them, for them, not for the rest of everyone.
Well, we're in the last minute of the program here, guys. Unfortunately, we did have some phone calls, but there was some problem in the audio. Not sure exactly what happened. But we're hoping to hear from you guys again, not next week, but in a couple of weeks from now, inshallah ta'ala. We will be back on. So we're hoping that you guys will tune in with us. As always, you can donate online by going just www.guideus.tv/donate. You can also send a text message to Islam at 41444. As always, like we like to say, get guided. Guidance TV, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Do we need Guidance TV?
Obviously, we do need Guidance TV in order to clarify the misconceptions created by others and in order to present the correct image of Islam. So get guided by Guidance TV.
Get guided with Guidance TV.